All right, guys, so we are back from doing the exhaust video, doing the flybys, revving, kind of getting an idea of what the car sounds like in different RPM bands, you know, doing what I normally do with exhaust videos. So I hope you enjoyed it. I love doing them. They're really fun. But I always got to get the heck out of there when I'm done because I don't want to cause any trouble. I just want to get some clips and get out of there. What I wanted to do at the end of this video was just give my overall thoughts, kind of explain, you know, what I think of the Tomei. Is it worth the hype? Are there better exhausts out there? Kind of go over a few points that I think are important if somebody is considering a Tomei. Now, keep in mind, I am equal length, as you guys know. There is a little bit of difference in sound, obviously, if you're unequal length. Either or, it sounds fantastic. So honestly, I really don't think you could go wrong getting a Tomei with either setup. Now, I've lost count now, to be honest, but I've tried probably around 8 different exhaust setups on this car. And the last one that I was running was the AWE track, which is in there. That sounded fantastic. I love the sound of that one. And to be completely honest, both sound in terms of volume is extremely similar. When I actually initially started the Tomei for the first time and was kind of driving around for my first drive, the first thought that went through my mind was it really didn't sound like I changed the exhaust. The overall tone and volume was very, very similar. And actually on cold starts, the AWE track seemed a little bit louder, which is kind of shocking. But when comparing both exhaust side to side, the AWE track, all it has is a resonator in the mid pipe, and then there's no mufflers. With the Tomei, granted it's single exit, there's a resonator in the mid pipe, and then there's a giant muffler in the back. So that's kind of to be expected, to be a little bit quieter. But after I started kind of breaking the exhaust in a little bit more and I started doing some more, higher revs and pulls and stuff, that is where the two exhausts kind of separate themselves. Obviously, titanium has a very specific sound. It's very tinny, very hollowy, especially on the pops and the cracks. There's a specific titanium sound that if you guys have ever heard it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It sounds really good. With the AWE track, I've found that it sounds a little bit more deeper, a little bit more bassy sounding. They both sound great. They both pop and crack like crazy. It's just a little bit different sound at wide open throttle. Now, the Tomei I found has a little bit of rasp on the higher end as opposed to the AWE. That just stays kind of deep and bassy sounding, where the Tomei gets a little bit higher pitched and a little bit raspier at the higher end. The Tomei sounds a little bit more aggressive overall, a little bit more raw sounding, where the AWE is a little bit more, I don't want to say tame. It doesn't really get that raw aggression up top like the Tomei does. Now, a question that a lot of people always ask is the Tomei, is it worth the hype? Is it worth the price point? Is it worth putting on my car? Honestly, yeah. If you're going from stock to a Tomei, you'll get a huge sound difference. So you get a very, very quick change in sound just from doing that one catback. You don't do anything else. You'll get a drastic sound difference. So, for the overall price point at just around $1,000, $1,100 or so, it is a great bang for your buck. The quality is great, the fitment is fantastic, and it sounds good. So I can really see why people love these exhausts. Now when comparing to other titanium exhausts like the Cobb or the NVIDIA R400, I believe they have a titanium version of that as well. Those are, in the 2,000 mark. They're like $1,900, $2,000. They're at the higher end of the exhaust in terms of cost. So, when you can get a full titanium exhaust, granted it's only single exit, it's definitely worth the price point. Now, am I going to keep it on my car? I don't know. It's kind of starting to break in a little bit, and I'm really starting to kind of hear the Tomei distinctive sound, and I'm really starting to dig it more than I thought I would. At first, on my first drive, I was like, it sounds okay. It sounds very similar to the AWE. There's not really that big of a difference. Do I prefer the quad seat? I had a lot of thoughts going through my head. Now that I have more miles on the car and kind of spent a little bit more seat time with it, it's really starting to grow on me. The one thing that I will say is I definitely suggest getting the block off plate like I did over here from Subi Speed, just because I think it cleans up the look a little bit. Having that open, I feel like it would kind of ruin the overall fit and finish of everything. It would look a little, I guess, unfinished. So having that piece there kind of cleans it up a little bit, and it makes the single exit look a little bit more clean in that area as opposed to just leaving that fully open. I do wish, obviously this is something that's a little bit more in depth, but I do wish somebody would come out with a full bumper or some type of diffuser or something that kind of integrate the single exit look. I think that would be really, really nice. When I had my E46 M3, there's a company called Bimmer World. They came out with a single exit exhaust. M3s have quad exhaust, as you guys all know. So going to a single exit as well, it was a conversion that a lot of people did for the track. And what they actually did was they made an entire diffuser that was kind of integrated into the single exit look. So it looks super aggressive, it looks really clean. And I think that would be an awesome, awesome option for the 2015 plus WRX or STI. I understand it would be a little bit more in depth because the diffuser on these cars, you can't just remove it. You'd have to put something over it, or you need to replace the entire rear bumper. Honestly, if a company, did all the R&D and made a full rear bumper with a single exit kind of integrated look, I would 100% buy it. I think it would really, really make the single exit exhaust look way better and would clean things up, and it would sell like crazy, I guarantee you. I wish I had the ability to kind of create and do that kind of stuff, but obviously I don't have that creativity or the tools or the know-how of how to do that. But that would be a seriously cool idea for anybody that can do something like that. So there's my review. There's kind of my thoughts on the Tomei and what I really think of it. Honestly, I think it's a great bang for your buck. There is pretty much zero drone on my setup in the cabin, which is great. The AWE had a decent amount of drone. So when cruising and everything, it's really, really nice. The connection points and everything are great. The fitment is perfect and it looks great. You know, it's got a massive tip in the back. Everything's titanium. So it looks really good. There's no question about it. I'm going to keep it on the car for a little bit, let it break in, and then I'll decide what to do. But either way, I don't think you can go wrong with a Tomei. It's going to sound great no matter what. If you're equal length or unequal length, they both sound fantastic. And it's a great bang for your buck. So honestly, I don't think you can go wrong picking one of those up. So if you guys have any questions at all about my setup or the Tomei, please ask them below. But in the meantime, keep it clean, keep it simple, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.